interview, I asked the congressman why it's necessary to audit the Fed.
Well, we have an obligation. They're very much involved in dealing with a lot of money. I think they're bigger and more important economically than the entire Congress, because they dealt with $15 trillion during the crisis a couple years ago, and they want to do it in secrecy. And we have an obligation in Congress under the Constitution that we're in charge of monetary policy, and we shouldn't just defer to a group of individuals who work in secrecy.
Well, so, Congressman, if I could, you know, I have great respect for you because you have studied this for a long time. You've written about it extensively. You called for an end to the Fed. But in frankness, they don't operate in secrecy. They issue a weekly balance sheet. The Federal Reserve Chairman has press conference after press conference. The members of the board speak to the press. They put out an annual financial statement that's audited by an outside group. What is it that you hope you would get from an audit that you don't have now?
Well, about 5 years ago, we'd have known that they were involved with LIBOR interest rates being fixed. We'd know everything they do when they talk to other central banks, when they decide that they will have currency swaps, when they will bail out banks, and what they do. So we have a right to know this. And this bill did not interfere with monetary policy, and that was misconstrued in the debate. What it does is finds out what they do in all the correspondence, why they pick and choose, who gets bailed out, why do some corporations get bailed out and others don't. Why does the person who earned the mortgage doesn't get help? They lost their job and they lost their houses. But some of these big guys that did the derivatives market, they got bailed out, and all that stuff was dumped on the taxpayer. And I want to know why they did this, and what were the circumstances, and what were the communications between these groups.
Congressman, the Federal Reserve Chairman has said that what you really want is to understand and know the conversations that go on around monetary policy. And forgive me for this, but I think the last
Look at that guy.
Anybody wants to see is Congress involved in monetary policy. You guys can't pass a budget. $15 trillion worth of debt, most at the hands of Congress. Why should we give you the financial reins here?
You have to.
This gal is under the assumption that the Congress wants to print money like fiat dollars. That's not what Ron Paul's talking about. He's talking about giving Congress the ability to mint gold and silver coinage as money. She is mistaken, and you will see that here.
The problems with that, one, I'm not asking for that. We're not going to change anything. They can fix interest rates. If people still believe that we need fixing interest rates like LIBOR and fixing the Fed fund rate, no, we wouldn't even touch that. But the reason is it's the law of the land. It's the Constitution. We have the absolute responsibility to deal with monetary policy, and you can't turn it over to a group of individuals in secrecy. They say, well, we don't want it politicized. Well, what about bailing out a company and letting another company fail? Is that political? They deal. They collaborate with the Treasury Department.
I mean, they're not bailing out companies right now.
Well, how do you know? You don't know exactly what they do on the discount window, and we would know. We would have this, and they would always have to have the responsibility that we will know what their communications are, and yet they can still fix interest rates. They can still print money. They can do all these things.
Congressman, I know a lot of people out there love your message, but they also feel like if you guys had the printing presses, those presses would never stop. They would go 24 hours a day.
Don't put words in my mouth. I'm not for that. They would do that because the Constitution doesn't say we can print money. The Constitution says we can mint gold and silver coins, and that is all. But we can't print money, and you're right. Congress would spend the money just as much as the Fed does.
Even more.
But the Congress would pass it out to maybe the mortgage holders and the farmers. They would be a little bit more populist. I'm not for that. Don't tell me I'm for that.
I want to get to a couple other issues quickly because the Republican National Convention coming up, my understanding is that they have helped you secure a place to speak. Tell me what you make of that. Are you happy with the role you're going to be playing here? Should you be doing more?
Well, I don't know what I'm going to be doing yet. We know that we have this place, and they removed their restrictions. They had restrictions placed on it, and when they knew that we could use that and have a rally, they said that they would remove their hold on that piece of property. So yes, I was pleased with that.
And you haven't endorsed Mitt Romney yet, will you?
No, I'll wait and see what happens at the convention.
Congressman, it's been a pleasure to talk to you. Thanks so much for the conversation, particularly today with your bill on the floor of the Congress. Are you predicting victory?
No, it's going to be close because it's under suspension. We won't vote till tomorrow. We have to get 2/3 of the vote, and so it's not guaranteed. We will have to wait until after lunch tomorrow.
Thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
All right.
So there you have it, folks. Another great little piece of Ron Paul and his smarts. She's, like I said, under the assumption that getting rid of the Fed and giving Congress control of printing money would be a disaster, and she's right about that. It would be a disaster, but Ron Paul's not talking about printing money and giving Congress the ability to print money. Only the silver and gold reserves, if any, can be turned into money, and then maybe some fiat paper backed by the real money. That's like stated in our Constitution. So this Jerry Willis, she was a little mistaken there. Anyhow, sorry about the shakiness here. Obviously, I'm recording off my TV, and I'm gonna have to invest in a tripod if I keep this up. So anyhow, thank you for watching, folks. San Pedro Silver signing out. Please like, subscribe, and leave any comments that you like. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time.